flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda, we have Randy Larkin, Pulaski County Tribe, proposal for an amphitheater.
Good afternoon. So, apologies right off the bat for a lack of communication. There's actually different requests. There's the amphitheater location and then there's the signage request. They aren't one and the same, they are separate. So just want to clarify that according to the agenda. We probably miscommunicated somehow what we were coming in tonight, but there's separate requests. So I will start with the amphitheater request. So if you recall—
Nathan, is her mic on?
Yeah. Is that better? Okay, sorry. If you'll recall, we came to you last spring and requested initial approval to scout the site behind the library for the potential building of an amphitheater to support efforts in Pulaski County. And we did receive a head nod from you then. Since that time, we have been in front of the Winnemac Town Council a couple of times, most recently just about a month ago, less than that, I believe, to ensure that they are still aligned with the potential for that being a site and that they would be the ones who would need to essentially maintain the execution of the project once it is said and done. So I come in front of you tonight. I shared with you a bit of information. I understand that you probably haven't had the time to read it all. I'm willing to go through it if you like, or for the sake of time, I can hop to my requests.
Let's go just to the highlighted areas that you have for the county commissioners.
Say that one more time.
We go back to the, I think, page 2, site approval.
Yes, sir. So that's what I'm here tonight to request. So if you look on the last page of the second to last page of the packet that I gave you, it shows the park area and then there behind the library, that plane where it is darker brown, that is a plane where it does not flood, and that is where we are proposing that we place the amphitheater along with ADA accessible restrooms. So that is currently county property, so that would have to be transferred over to the town, is my understanding. That's been our understanding all along. So we're coming back in front of you tonight to request, or I guess to find out, would that still be a plausible location, and does that seem like a plausible plan to you? We do understand that there is the consideration for the potential sale of that county building there, and I don't know what is planned with the Kwanzaa hut behind it, but we could get some property lines and ensure that we would not cross that if that is still a future potential consideration. So to restate or to affirm, we're looking for approval from the Pulaski County Commissioners to look at the area behind the Pulaski County Public Library as the confirmed project site. If we receive that approval, then we, as PCT, will financially support the next phase, which is having some contractors and engineers come in and work with some landscape architects to pay to have official plans developed. But before we put monies or energy behind that, we want to confirm that that is still a viable location.
At this point, there hasn't been any surveying done.
That's what we're looking to do next, and we're looking to financially support if this is still a viable site.
Wouldn't that be the library building? She's saying the county.
This is
The
the last I was informed, which was from Brad Zellers with the town of Winnemac. The property that we're looking to build on is owned by the county, and that we would need to come to you again for approval of building on that site. If I am incorrect, please somebody let me know, but and that was the last time we presented to you, and it was my understanding that that was confirmed or agreed with by the commissioners.
Do you know the ballpark where the county property is behind the library? Do you know where it is on this map?
I know it's from behind The pickleball courts all the way over to like the other side of the Quonset hut. It actually runs through the pickleball courts a bit.
In the floodplain there? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, the web GIS that Nathan showed me, which is that aerial shot, basically you own all of that, all the way from behind the library and the county building, all to the river. All of that is county property.
Okay, so the library board doesn't
No, no, that would be your call.
Yep. In the next section, talk about financial support.
If the site is approved, we would like to request at least consideration for a financial contribution from the county to support this county area attraction that would hopefully have some economic benefit to our county. The amphitheater does have the potential to be rented out by the hour or by the date, and it would be a tourist attraction. PCT will also independently seek corporate sponsors, grant opportunities, private donations, and pursue fundraising.
Well,
I guess,
this being in the floodplain, that flood regularly.
So the amphitheater would not be in the floodplain. That part that is brown, we would seek to build it within the brown part. All right, so the library is here and here's behind the library. There's this brown part on your map that is not floodplain. That is where the amphitheater and the ADA accessible restrooms would be built. Down below, within that dip, is where we would seek to put in permanent seating and potentially expand the walking path from the artesian well area of the park through the backside of the pickleball court and coming around to like have a full loop that would also help with ADA accessibility to the amphitheater location.
Are you thinking something basic like North Judson has?
We'll scout it out and have different pricing done, but yes, they're in a lot of local counties. I don't think we're going to be able to pursue one for less, the amphitheater itself for less than 300,000. And then we have the consideration of the restrooms and seating and the path. We will most likely need to pursue this in a phased project approach. But when we have our plans developed, we want to have the whole thing scoped out so that we have those monies spent in like a 1, 3, and 5 year plan for developing that area. And we understand what our financial obligations are out of the gate. But phase 1 will be the amphitheater and a restroom on the area that's not the floodplain.
this is probably jumping ahead a little bit, but who'd be responsible for property and liability insurance?
If you hand
on a facility like
if you
that?
hand the grounds over to the town, they would then be responsible for maintaining them and they would be responsible for those components. This is something that PCT would gift to the town. We would not maintain.
So the town's willing to accept this?
Yes, we have been in front of them twice. And to collaborate with us with the infrastructure in talking with the engineers that we would have come in to develop the site.
I thought this summer that whole artesian well ground back there was flooded.
Up to about that part, but that's lower. So what I'm talking about here is on a higher portion of the floodplain. It came up close to the well. Yes, sir. We're not doing it on that side. That's part of the reason we purposely didn't scout that side of it, that we're looking at this other side, because it is raised. It's not currently developed. It has an amazing view and it would be a great asset for the county. A current consideration, in full disclosure, is that there would probably need to be the removal of the Historical Society, cabin that is back there right now, and there are conversations pursuing potentially a viable home for that to go, because it would be within the space where we would probably be developing that area.
Was the neighbors around?
We have not talked with the residents. We've talked with the town and understood that there aren't any county or town ordinances that would prohibit this. Next steps upon if this is a viable location, we would go back to the town and find out how this would need to be communicated to those people in that area. We don't want to go to those lengths if this isn't the space that we're going to be pursuing.
So is the county locked into a financial commitment of some sort? Do you give the approval to move forward with your engineering and development?
No,
side of it?
sir. We are just asking at this time, knowing that financial planning for 2025 is taking place and that this has the potential to be a positive for our county, that you consider a contribution to the project if we pursue and go forth. So we pay to have these plans done. We've already earned the monies and have those reserved. We would then come back and present them, and upon agreement. So we're not developing anything right now. I'd say we're still in a research phase, and the next step of that research phase is putting monies behind the engineering plans and the blueprints to even have the site looked at. They could come back to me in all honesty and say, for reasons A, B, and C, this is not a viable location. You need to find another one.
Well, I'll make a motion that it's okay for them to go ahead and pursue it as long as it don't cost the county.
Okay, I can second that.
So as a component of that, for my clarification, if that happens and we have plans that are viable to pursue this, the county then somehow transfers this land over to the town? What does that look like?
So the way that would work is you gotta get a survey of what you want, unless you want all of it, and they're willing to give all of it to you. I mean, it's all, most of it's floodplain, but there's a rough parcel, or what looks like a tax parcel that Nathan showed me. But a tax parcel isn't a meets and bounds description. You get that from a surveyor, that would go out and actually survey off, and they can create a whole new legal description. Legal description, you may be familiar with, if you look at the deed, it says 100 feet southwest, and it's this point in the beginning, and then they're like a long, complicated thing that a surveyor comes up with, and they're out there with their measurement tools, and they'll measure off a parcel of ground and then describe it. And then the survey will describe it, and then that legal description, we can create a deed. We can deed it, county can deed it to the town. And then if they're the ones that are going to insure it and maintain it, that's really all they do. I think that's what they're committing to, or is that what you're committing to? I don't know. Is that the idea? Okay. So if you pay for a survey and get a meets and bounds description, then we can create a deed, and then I can look at the statutes on what it takes to donate that to the town. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's fairly useless property for anything other than what you're proposing.
So what I would like to know from, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But you can't put a building there or anything, you probably put an amphitheater there, like an outdoor seating area. You could build a house there, so. It would have nominal value to the county. But there's certain procedures we have to go through. But since we're giving it to another municipality for universal purpose for all taxpayers, it shouldn't be a problem.
When we work with the surveyor, is there consideration for where logically a property line may stop with the consideration of the potential future sale of the county building that you want noted? Or not? Because otherwise, I would say we'll use as much of that space as we can get, considering the seating, the walking path, et cetera, like really building up that side of the west side of the park. but is there a consideration for where it should end?
Well, from what I know from personal experience and what I can see on this map, the parking lot, it goes back about as far as you can go before you get into where it floods.
Correct. I guess I'm talking the other direction. May I
Yeah.
come up and show you?
Sure.
So that's what I'm talking about, like over here where that Quonset hut is in here.
Right.
Does it need to stop at a certain point for that Quonset hut? If you sell the county building, does that land behind it go with the sale of the county building? Or is that going to be a separate plot and parcel?
Well, I think we were sold the county building, we want to sell that Quonset building that needs to be done.
Are you saying that what, I guess,
So if we
why would you
come-
want this over here? Aren't you building over here?
Maybe I'm.
Oh, this is the library, this is the county building. Aren't you building here?
So I'd like to build in here,
Right behind the parking lot?
yes.
Okay, she's asking.
So if you come, I have my wrong direction. Where in here, like if this is the county building, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
are you wanting to maintain river's edge easement for the county building? Do you see what- do you see what I'm saying?
I thought we were talking about this dark spot here.
So, but
We all
ideally,
thought we were
we
there.
would come all the way up to here. So what I'm saying is we would take the whole space. That's why I say, what is your indication of where it would need to stop? So we do want to build in here. But see, down here in this floodplain, this is where we would have seating. This is where a walking path and such would come around.
I
So
would
like,
think
here's
that,
the pickleball court. We have a walking path over here right now. It would come back around here, and there would be seating in here.
but the
So
amphitheater is this dark spot right here.
the amphitheater would go somewhere in here. Yes, the amphitheater and the restrooms would go somewhere in here. So wherever we need to stop, like if we need to stop here, we will. I'm asking, like, what do we tell the surveyor? Like,
I think
maybe we
initially-
stop in here, we can.
Initially, since we still own that building, you can always add property later.
I think initially, we need to stay to the north
Right.
side. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, I'm just throwing it out there from experience of, this survey will not be cheap. I mean, it'll be thousands of dollars. So if you're gonna get a surveyor out there, it'd be better to go out with Randy and whoever, whichever one of you wants to do it, and just put stakes where you ballpark want it to be before you ever get a surveyor out there. Once you get that, I mean, you're gonna spend a lot of money to get a survey, you wouldn't want to go back out later and say, give us 10 more feet over here, it's gonna cost you thousands more.
And that's why we want to ensure that we have head nods before we spend any monies on the
Well, I would
components of
go
the
out,
project.
what I would do, just throw it out there, this is my decision, but go out and mark out what you want, and then have these gentlemen come out, and they can go out and look at, they can go together to look at, for information purposes, or for what's called information gathering, and look at what you're talking about.
Okay. I can do that. Yes.
And I don't think anybody's gonna complain, you put some stakes out there, you know, orange tape on them,
Okay.
they know what you're talking about.
Any other discussion before we vote on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Now we have the second part, right?
Yes, sir. So this is net new business that I'm presenting to the county on behalf of PCT. So based on some consistent community feedback, there's a need for improved communication channels within Pulaski County. Our current methods, websites, social media, newspapers, print, etc., can be challenging and costly if you try to do them all. So we would like to propose for consideration some signage. We are proposing this at this time because we would like you to consider the courthouse to be a potential location for this signage. There's 3 types of signage. The primary one that we're talking about here is LED signage. So to install an LED sign to enhance community event and attraction promotion, preliminary costs are that a sign of such nature would be at least $30,000. We'd like to see this as a proposed joint project between various groups, businesses, and the county, leveraging grants and other funding sources. We are requesting financial support from the county if the project is pursued. Additional types of signage opportunities are columns for banner placement and community signposts. I have attached examples of pictures on the last page for your visual reference back to what I'm talking about. We're asking for this consideration now, considering all of the work that is being done at the courthouse, and it would make sense to have the electrical lines run to accommodate it now. So our suggestion is integrating the signage into the ongoing courthouse updates. We would like to see the county, again, have a financial contribution to this and then propose seeking other organizations and businesses and entities and grants to help support the financial component of it. I know we aren't at that point yet where I can say we have X number of dollars to commit to the project or X number of organizations, but time was not quite going to be in my favor. So I wanted to get this in front of you now while the work is being done on the courthouse for your consideration.
Okay, I appreciate you bringing it to us now. I think we would probably just table this for further considerations.
Is there any negative impact? Like if we don't make a decision in the next month, is there any potential that that could deter the possibility of this?
I don't know, Nathan, running pipes ground and stuff like that should not be a problem down the road. It just has to be done before the final landscaping would be done.
My biggest concern is what additional cost it's going to add to the courthouse project for additional services from the Luminaut team and a change order from Ton and Blank to have the electrical team add new power source, new conduit, new cabling. And probably also for Luminaut to have to revisit the landscape plans with the landscape contractor to see how the proposed slope to the grade might affect what would have to be done with the wiring.
Right. So I think there's some issues that we'd have to look into, or we could say yes or no on this.
So may I alter my request then and ask for the commissioners to look into what would need to be done to accommodate said signage?
Yeah, do that.
Okay, thank you.
That only going that far eliminates the need for looking at a potential change order at this point, but that is still likely going to require us to incur costs for additional design services from Luminaut.
We feel this is a valuable asset to our community. It's not an outstretched ask. They're very common in communities across the nation for the courthouse and other publicly county-owned grounds to have said signage. And it would be directly addressing a need that is consistently shared in community conversations.
Well, we still need to get a cost of what this takes.
Yes, sir.
And it could be a lot cheaper after time to do it now. Even though it mess up the landscape.
So you can see a different type of landscaping around it. So does that interfere with what the architects have already designed as landscaping? So it's not a simple task here. So, Brandy, if they were just going to table it, get a little more information, okay?
On the commissioners will get more information. I just want to clarify my understanding.
Yeah, I think it's our ballpark now, just check with our current contractors to say, okay, what is the cost? We're going through our contingency money like crazy anyway, so is it even feasible for the county to do it?
Thank you. And then the last one is just a general consideration for additional signage throughout our county. Installing the signage in strategic locations could enhance communication, promote events, and provide information across the entire county, ensuring all residents and visitors are well informed about local activities and area attractions. It has the opportunity, as I said, for improved community communication, supporting economic development through the visibility of local events and attractions, drawing more visitors to Pulaski County and thus supporting businesses throughout our county. It could be an opportunity for the county to enhance public safety and increase public engagement in community events, volunteer activities, and local governance. The proposed signage would be the same types as I have shared examples of on the back page. This is more of a consideration to develop a plan. So identifying some locations, developing the plan, exploring funding opportunities, and collaborating with local entities throughout the county to host and maintain the signage. So the request is for the commissioners to explore and implement countywide signage, and including some financial backing and partnership in planning and development. This could enhance community engagement and communication throughout Pulaski County. This again is being presented at this time due to the understanding of 2025 planning coming into play, and that this is a request that would require monetary support and perhaps some grant seeking and local partnerships.
So you don't have any ballpark cost with these items?
No, the one that we had the ballpark on was the LED, and those are about 30,000. The others would be dependent on contractors and are fairly, the two with the posts, the pillars, that would be a contractor to build. I'm not a contractor, but that's going to be our lowest expense of them all, because then the organization or the business would pay to have the banner created and then put it up there on some sort of tie. And the others would be permanent. The third one with the sign in the bottom right corner, that one would be a little more because those are permanent fixtures, but there should be some financial funding if we can get locations in terms of grants, et cetera. Similar to like the lights that were put on the walking path. These are more of a permanent in the ground, concrete base, et cetera. So no, not at this time do I have estimates for them except for the LEDs.
Chuck, if I may, last year, going into this year, the commissioners and council just completely overhauled the governance of my office, including the establishment of a tourism advisory council. I think that if this is a project that the tribe would be interested in undertaking with county funding, it's the sort of thing that perhaps should be brought to the TAC as opposed to the commissioners.
Part of it, part of the branch of what he has been doing now. So, is your Main Street organization, is it applying for grants for this?
I don't know if the Main Street organization is applying for grants for this.
Okay, because that would be another source, I would think, come into play.
Yes, sir, it absolutely could be. This is another thing where there's the opportunity for organizations to partner with the county on this for the economic impact that this can have overall and increased communication.
So I think we will maybe take Nathan's suggestion and pass this on to his group first, see what they think. Maybe you can check with your Main Street organization, get them involved as well. I know they have grants, so on.
May I ask for clarity on what it is? I don't know that I fully understood what you said or what he's directing me back to.
The Tourism Advisory Council, it's basically Pulaski County's equivalent of a tourism commission.
Yes, and so to work with them with monies that they already have earmarked for economic development. Are there meetings for that?
Getting
Like,
ready
where
to
do I
schedule
go?
a meeting, and I'll let you know what dates we're looking at and see if we can coordinate one that'll work for you.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Brandy? Anything for us?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, just updates on the courthouse project for you this evening. No change to project financials since last week's report. I gave you a little bit of update, but just for your reference, to date, there have been 25 change order requests. We've approved 17 of them fully, 7 are under review, and 1 is the time and materials work approved by Commissioner Lamer to address the flat roof areas that will come back with an event price once we know how intensive it is. The first of the 3 concrete pours for the slab happened on Friday morning, with the second and third scheduled for tomorrow and Friday. Our third-party construction testing vendor was on site on Friday and will return for the second and third pours too. They had previously tested stone density before the first pour. There is still a little bit of bat removal and cleanup work to be done, but Ton and Blank has begun demolition in the attic. Electrical, HVAC, and plumbing work continues. Preparation for the rest of the concrete, including vapor barrier and rebar installation, is taking place right now. And the masons are working their way around the building, grinding out all of the existing ground. Superintendent John Allen had a couple of concerns about existing conditions he observed at various points near the roof. The masons do not believe that one set of issues is material, while one of our project engineers will be investigating some spots where someone previously had installed some metal strapping when he is on site in a week or so. Although one section was as bad or as worse than the first, most of the flat roof sections have not been quite as problematic as we had initially feared would be the case. Hornets and honeybees have been found at points along the tower. Honeybees in one point, hornets in one place. I spoke with one beekeeper who is unfortunately unable to assist us, but she advised that killing the hornets would be a simple matter and Ton and Blank should be able to address this easily. I am searching for a local beekeeper who might be interested in capturing and taking over this colony, and I've already gotten 4 or 5 names this afternoon. Our next design team site visit will be next Wednesday, the 11th of September. Any questions?
The metal strapping was used for what?
Well, as John explained it to me, there are a couple of sections of block that look like they should just be parallel to each other, and they're actually pulled so they're almost coming together. He's not sure why, and he's going to defer the engineer on that one. They're up high enough that it doesn't seem like it's likely there's much of a structural issue, but maybe they were loose and were at risk of falling if they weren't pulled together. Until Mr. Savage is on site, not sure that I can answer that with certainty.
Anything else for Nathan? Thank you, Nathan. And we have the claims, payroll number 18 to approve.
I looked over them. They look real as made out because of she had approved the claims and payroll.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Approve the claims and payroll number 18. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And we have 3 sets of minutes. We have the regular session minutes of August 19th. We had a special session on August 26th. We had an executive session on August 16th. So I would make a motion to approve those as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Another part of the business, we have a bond for Michelle Fox, who was with Soil and Water, through the Western Survey Company. The bond amount is $15,000. We'd need a motion to approve the bond.
I'll make a motion to approve the bond for Michelle Fox.
All second. Other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have, through the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Board, we have a new appointment. Is Jennifer Mellon become one of the trustees for a 4-year term. She is taking Mrs. Lehman's spot on the board.
trustee board.
Okay, I would second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And just want to throw one thing out here this evening, and we'll have later discussion on it or to find proper action to take, but I would like to offer what we might call like a free pass to our volunteer first responders, mainly our volunteer fire departments. This was brought up because we did have one injury at a situation, and that person had to be transported to the hospital, but then the fire department, got a bill from the EMS. So I think we need to know the proper procedures about whether it's through a resolution or what it might be. But those volunteers do a lot of work for us, and I would just like to, if this situation happens again, is to offer some type of free pass where that bill is null and void. I'm just throwing that out tonight for the discussion.
Could we make a motion to have our attorney look into it?
What would that take, Kevin? Would we need a resolution or what?
Most likely, it's gonna have to do with looking at their contract. They've got we have a company that does the billing for us.
Yeah.
And they look at, so we would, look, it's county department, you can do what you want, so we'll figure it out. But I need to, you wanna make it so that, we would need to be clear on who we're talking about. If you're, I think what you're talking about is if there's somebody that's a local, volunteering for a local organization or like a fire department, and they get injured doing that job, they won't get a bill from the ambulance service.
Right.
Okay. We can figure that out.
Any other things, board? Nathan, anything else? Laura? No? Community comments?
Make a motion to dismiss.
Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.